Hello, everyone, again. Uh, Hope you are doing well so far. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our next keynote speaker, uh, Professor Dr. Zhipeng. He is Associate Professor of Oral and Maxillofacial Radiology and Vice Chief of Education Department, Peking University School and Hospital of Stomatology, Beijing, China. Thank you very much, Professor Zhipeng. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to you. I had a great visit of your school and also your hospital, I think about 3 years ago, and I appreciate your school and your hospital, and we got many idea from your school and your departments in Peking University. I would like to express my appreciation for accepting my invitation to this course, and the stage is yours.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, dear Professor Priyan, and many Iran friends. I'm very happy to have this opportunity to enjoy your activities. Today, I will have a topic about a brief introduction to the traditional Chinese culture, personality, and philosophy. I'm from Peking University. I am in Beijing this time. And from February 11th to 16th, all Chinese people are on a 7-day holiday for Spring Festival. February 12th this year. If a Chinese people is asked for his favorite color to stand for his motherland, it must be the color of red. Let's start from the Chinese Spring Festival. Chinese people have a very strong emotion for family union. The Spring Festival is not only a start of a new year, but more importantly, it's a time for family reunion. Every Chinese will try his best to go by to his father and mother on the New Year's Eve. Wherever he is. But this year, it's very unusual. People usually return home for a traditional annual family reunion on Spring Festival, but this year, because of the COVID-19 epidemic, is unpredictable. Many people are choosing to stay where they are during the Spring Festival and avoid unnecessary gathering. But their concerns about family members and friends are still strong. We can see here is the Chinese people wearing facial masks, walking along Beijing shopping street to buy something for the upcoming Spring Festival. You can see here, people see like Spring Festival scrolls and lanterns of display featuring an ox on Beijing street. Spring Festival of 2021 is a year of the ox on the Chinese zodiac calendar. The Chinese zodiac assigns an animal to each year in a repeating 12-year cycle. The 12 animals are rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. The ox is a symbol of diligence in Chinese culture. So Chinese people like ox. Every Chinese people throughout the world was born under a zodiac animal. For example, I was born in 1981, which was a year of a rooster. So I was under a zodiac animal of rooster. Chinese people believe that the animal symbol will have a strong impact on one's personality. At this time, overseas Chinese people throughout the world are having some celebration activities for the Spring Festival. This picture shows that in Malaysia, people are taking photos in front of a building with a symbol of ox. When see this picture is in the Chinatown of London. People are making decorations with red lanterns on the street to celebrate the new year. The Spring Festival is a very strong expectation for is a very strong spiritual expectation for Chinese people. It is a very important time for family union. The sons and daughters will try their best to go back to their fathers and mothers as a new relative. This pictures a big family composed of more than 50 people are gathering together. During the Spring Festival, people will buy some red and colorful paintings and handwritings to decorate their house.
Hello, everyone. It seems there is a technical problem and Professor Zhipeng left the room. Our IT team trying to let him join the meeting again. Let's check. Professor Zhipeng has not joined us yet. Again, Professor Zhipeng, do you have my voice? Professor Zhipeng? Professor, do you have my voice?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, it's okay.
It's okay? Okay.
Yes.
I have to share my screen.
Yes, please again. Thank you.
I have to share my screen. Can you help me to share my screen?
Professor, if you would let us, my colleagues, I are trying to make you co-host, and
Yeah.
then you will be able to share your screen.
Okay, but let me check. I cannot share my screen at this time. Okay.
Yes, my colleague, I are trying to make you co-host, and then you will be
Okay.
able to share your
Okay,
screen.
okay. Okay.
Then I think you can share your screen now,
At this time,
Professor.
okay. Okay, it's okay.
Great.
Mm.
We are all ears.
With that, does that work? Okay, I go
Yes,
on with
it's
my
great.
lecture.
Yes, it's great.
Okay, okay, okay. Just now we have talked about something about our Chinese traditional Spring Festival, which is a 7 holiday for us at this time. We can see on this picture is I just have said that Chinese Spring Festival is a great time for Chinese people to go back home for family union. Because at the New Year's Eve, the family dinner is very important for everyone. This is a very big family composed of more than 15 people. They are getting together to celebrate the New Year. During the Spring Festival, people will buy some colorful paintings and some handwritings on red carpet to decorate their house. An artist will give traditional dragon parade on the street. A kind of national identity which combines the love for one's family and for the people who shares the same culture. So Spring Festival is a very strong family and a national expectation of Chinese people. The Chinese character Fu in Chinese means good fortune. When it is put upside down, it has the same pronunciation with the pressure of arrival in Chinese. So in China, some Chinese would like to use upside down Fu on their door to mean the arrival of good fortune. This is the New Year picture. People also use red lanterns for decorations. This is paper cutting. This is door guard. Chinese people like to use these things to create a festival atmosphere and express good wishes. The Chinese character Fu is most welcoming one character in China because it represents blessings for good fortune and happiness in a whole year. We Chinese people write them on red papers and use them to decorate our house and gate every year. Myself will write many couplets and give them to my friends, which express very good blessings for their well-being. The dinner at the New Year's Eve is of course the most important dinner all throughout a year. It is a time for family reunion. The concept of family is of utmost importance in China traditional culture. The concept of family is also a very important step in Chinese philosophy. We can see this is a picture of a dumpling. Dumpling is very popular in North China. We can see this is tangyuan and niangao. Tangyuan and niangao are very popular in South China. These foods are traditional food with a long history in China. People eat them to celebrate the Chinese New Year. In China, dumpling also signify the transition from old to new. Tangyuan symbolizes the reunion, while niangao expresses the hope that people work and life will get better each year. Another traditional food during the Spring Festival is the mooncake. The mooncake is round in its shape, indicating the Chinese eager for union and complete well-being of our friends. Okay, this picture shows my own New Year's dinner, my own New Year's Eve dinner this year. Because of the COVID-19, as a medical worker, I choose to stay Beijing for this holiday instead of going back to my hometown in Shandong province. This year, I'm 40 years old. Actually, this is the first time I did not go back to my hometown to celebrate the festival with my parent. Chinese culture is immense with varieties of symbols. Other Chinese symbols include the Beijing Opera, and this picture shows the buried sculpture legion of Qing Dynasty in Xi'an. China culture is also featured by China.
Sorry, Professor, for interruption. I do apologize. We don't have your PowerPoint. Would you share it again?
Okay. That's something wrong? Okay. Share it again. How to LD8. Is this okay? Okay, I'll get into the meeting one time again. I think there's something wrong.
Sorry for interruption. I think there is a problem from Professor Zhipeng side, and we are waiting for him to come in the room again. I think the title is very interesting for all of us because he will make us familiar with great culture of China. Yes. Hello again, Professor.
Okay.
I think you can share your.
Can you see my?
Yes,
people?
Great.
Okay. Is this screen okay?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay. Very sorry for the for these troubles. Just now I have taught some culture symbols in China. We can see this picture is a picture of Beijing Opera. This is the buried sculpture legion of Qing Dynasty in the city of Xi'an. This is China. China also gets its name from this thing. We also have garden architecture Buddha temple in China. Also, Chinese handwriting and Chinese drawings are very famous. China is also famous of its costumes and Chinese tea. Next, I will go to the philosophies. As Spring Festival is a strong signature of Chinese culture, I think every nation has its own culture event and the cultural features. Every nation formed its culture through long history and development. Although culture of different countries may differ a great deal, but there is something same between different cultures. I think the similarities in different cultures give rise to two sides of the philosophy. One side of the philosophy is the strive for good livings. It gives rise to material thinkings and give rise to science and technology development. The other side of philosophy is the spiritual harmony. People always pursue spiritual harmony, like religion, art, and a human virtue. Different language systems give rise to varieties of presentations of human thinkings and philosophies. Many difficulties exist in communication between different nations, but I believe people are the same in humanity. After times and times again, and with repeated communication, people in different places in different nations could reach a same place to find human virtues. Constant pursuit of human well-being are the same all over the world, all through the human history. Great thinkers all over the world have always been on the same pursuit of improvement of human virtues. Although people may be different in language or forms, people maybe are the same in spiritual core. Human virtues may be presented in different religions, literary works, movies, songs, or stories. These forms are all thinking carriers. And I think our literary works can be successful only if they move people's basic emotion, and can be great only if they prove human virtue. Even in a same nation or local culture, individual people are still different in their unconscious speech and action patterns. This is what we call personality. Personality refers to the various aspects of a person's character that's combined to make a person different from others. The personality is formed by culture and individual growth experience. And this is the passive and uncontrollable side for one person. And one person can also correct his personality by reflective thinkings about his own unconscious thinking and behaviors. This is what we call philosophy. I think this is the active hard part. It's the active and hard thinking and the choice one must make. The method of psychiatric therapy originated by Sigmund Freud established a system of explanation for the personality. As shown in this picture, one's personality is controlled by the part of the conscious and the part of the unconscious, but mainly by the unconscious part. Their biological animal instinct, emotion, country or local culture, personal experience, and family education gives rise to the unconscious part of one's personality. On top of the conscious part of one's personality is the active reflex thinking of one's personality. That's what we call philosophy. It is the philosophy led us to the pursuit of great and perfect personality. Then I will talk some Chinese traditional philosophy systems. The very traditional philosophy in China has two main systems. One is what we call Confucianism, and the other one is what we call Taoism. There are some difference between two systems, and there are some similarities between these two systems. The Confucianism is mostly about these worldly concerns. It's about humanistic and talks about one how to live with other people. The Taoism is mostly about the otherworldly concerns. It most talk about the natural laws and the universe movement. Confucianism is a tradition, a philosophy, or we can say it a religion, or way of governing, or simply a way of life of Chinese people. It put emphasis on the family and the social harmony. The core of Confucianism is humanistic. It expressed the strong belief that human beings are fundamentally good, and the people are teachable, improvable, and perfectible. One people should cultivate himself and pursue great virtue and maintenance of ethics. There are 4 levels of achievement or goals for anyone's life. That is what we call constantly strict self-cultivation. And the second level is one should try to achieve family harmony. And the third level is that one should put his country in order. And the final level, one should bring peace to this world. As this picture shows, is a painting of the Confucius. He is the founder of Confucianism. He is the most influential and best known Chinese ancestor. And up to now, there are 541 Confucius Institutes in 162 countries to extend our Chinese Confucius philosophy. We can see these pictures are Confucius Institute all through the world. People are learning the philosophy of Confucianism. Confucius, he lived about 400 to 500 BC. He is the founder of Confucianism. He was not only a great philosopher and thinker, but also a distinguished statesman and educator in Chinese history. And the second important person in Confucianism is what we call Moses. He is also entitled as the second sage in China. He was one of the most important philosophers in the Confucian school. There are many great mentors in Confucianism appeared in many dynasties in the long history of China. They basically were mostly the famous mentors, philosophers, and some of them are politicians at their times. Throughout more than 2,000 years of Chinese history, even nowadays in the modern time, the philosophical system of Confucianism has always been playing its instructive role to most Chinese people throughout the world. There are 4 books and 5 classics in the Confucianism system. The 5 classics are the classic of changes, the classic of songs, classic of ride, classic of history, and the book of spring and autumn annals. And the 4 books are the Analectics, the Menses, the Great Learning, and the Doctrine of the Mean. The Analects of Confucius is the collection of questions that Confucius taught his students. Menses is a quotation recording of Menses' words and his deeds. And the Book of Great Learning and the Book of Doctrine of the Mean are originally 2 chapters in the classic of ride. In the Song Dynasty, our mentor Zhu Xi thought these 2 chapters are of exceptional importance, so he made these 2 chapters into 2 independent books to stress their importance. The ultimate question in Confucianism is to establish an ideal personality, which in Chinese we call it 君子. When this ideal personality is translated in English, we cannot find a very satisfactory one. Some translation may be a gentleman, or a superior man, or great man. But as far as I am concerned, I think these 3 translations are not good enough. I think 君子, the best translation may be that a man of great or complete virtue. The behavior and attitudes of a man of great virtue shows the highest moral standards. A man of great or complete virtue is a spiritual compass and the ideal personality of Chinese people. And we think everyone can be a man of great virtue if only he bears this orientation and keeps working. The Classic of Changes is a great book of collections of maxims teaching people how to be a man of great complete virtue. In this book, the spiritual course is that people should learn from the sun and the earth, and learn from the natural phenomenon. There are 2 main ways, 2 main sides on the way to be a man of great virtue in this book. We can use 8 Chinese characters to summarize of the 2 ways, in which we call 自强不息,厚德载物, which is also used as the school motto of Tsinghua University. Tsinghua University, so in this picture, is the top 1 university in China. Many Chinese people like to put this spirit into handwritings to decorate their homes. This spiritual can be translated into 2 paragraphs. It means, on one side, just as the sun and the heaven maintains vigorous and constant movement to bring energy to the earth, a man of great virtue, unconsciously, like the sun, shows a constant energy and strives for self and social perfection. On the other side of this spirit, just as the terrain is vast and gives rise to everything on earth, a man of great virtue carries unconscious vast support and broad mind to everyone and everything he meets. Then what is the spirit core of a man of great virtue? We call it benevolence. Benevolence is the basic relationship between 2 people in Confucianism, and it is the highest pursuit of Chinese virtue. To be benevolent, a man should always have full considerations for others. We can see in this picture is a Chinese character of benevolence. We know that Chinese character is Peter pictograph writing system, we can see the left part of this character is described as a human being, and the right part of this character is there are two horizontal lines which represent the number 2. So the benevolence in Chinese character basically means the relationship between two peoples. This is benevolence, and this is the starting point of philosophy in Confucianism. Then how to be benevolent? In Confucianism, one should not do to others what you do not wish to yourself. One should overcome his own shortcomings in what you pursue and conform himself to the ideal decency and good sense. One should have full understandings for others and have full love for others. Another part of spiritual essence comes from the second side of monks. According to monks, human nature is fundamentally good at birth. Because at his time, there was some dispute about human nature. Some people say human nature is bad. Some said human nature is good. According to Confucianism, human nature is fundamentally good at birth. We also say it like men on earth good at birth. Or we see that humans are all the same in nature, but varies on nurture. Monks use a story to prove his judgment of human nature. He said, when anyone see a little boy nearby is unconsciously drowning into a water, the first instinct, thought, and the reaction of this person must be to give his hand and pull the baby back. Let's say human nature is fundamentally good. In Confucianism, there's a system to teach a man how to be how to become a man with complete virtue. First, how does a man with complete virtue speak? Trustworthy is of importance in a man when a man speaks. One should be trustworthy in what he says in intercourse with his friends. A man of great virtue is slow in speech, but may be quick in action. And we also say that clever speech and a smiling face may be ingratiating and do not always stand for benevolence. We can see in this picture is a character, Chinese character for trustworthy. In this character, the left part stands for a person or for a human being. The right part, we can see something important. The lowest part stands for the mouse. The middle part means 3 times of carefully thinking. And at the above is the something important. The meaning in this Chinese character means that what a man should say should be something important after 3 times of carefully thinking. That is something should be trustworthy. How does a man of complete virtue live? Confucius remarked that a man of great virtue in matters of food should never seek to indulge his appetite. In lodging, he should not be too solicitous of comfort. Confucius also remarked, living upon the poorest fare or with cold water for drink, and with my arms for a pillow, I could yet find a pleasure in such a life. That is a description, a life of a man of complete virtue. Then next, I will go to the second system of Chinese traditional philosophy, Taoism. Taoism is the other basic and the cornerstone spiritual support of China. Taoism is as influential as Confucianism in Chinese philosophy. Taoism is based on the theory of Lao Tzu and Zhuangzi as its basic doctrine. We can see this picture is a painting of Lao Tzu. This picture is a painting of Zhuangzi. These two ancestors lays the basis of the theory of Taoism. Taoism thought permeate all aspects of Chinese life. We can see in the modern time, Chinese people, one of Chinese people's favorite fitness exercise is what we call Tai Chi Chuan. Is the embodiment of a Taoism thought in fitness. And this figure shows the basic thinking of Taoism, which we call the Tai Chi diagram. The classic doctrine book in Taoism is what we call it Dao De Jing, also can be translated as a book of the way and its power. It's the doctrine of Taoism consisting of both prose and poetry with only 5,000 words and 81 chapters. In Taoism, there are two sects are basically important. The first one is what we call Dao. The second one is De. The Dao refers to the universal regulations or laws, all time, in everywhere, for all people, for everything. It is a universal law. And the second concept is De. De is the action, is the human learnings from the action in accordance with nature. The spirit core in Taoism is that letting nature take its own course and governed by non-interference. Let's go to the main concept one of Taoism, Dao. The understanding of Dao, how to translate Dao is the difficulty. We can translate it as metaphysics is Dao. Physics is the study of the physical world. Meta means after. Metaphysics means some studies posterior to the physical studies. The word Dao is also translated as the way, the truth, the universal law inside or after the physical world. Dao is the way of the universe functions. It's the path taken by all natural. Taoism often uses the image of water to illustrate such effortless action. Chinese people like water. Chinese people like water. Because we think water always settles itself to the lowest level and give rise to all creatures and bring away the hardest part of substance. The number two concept of Taoism is what we call De. De refers to wisdoms people learn from the Dao, which is the universal law of natural nature of morality. People should act in accordance with the trends of nature changes. De is the power of morality. It's the power for goodness, power for naturalness, and the power of simplicities. And the main concept of Dao, number three, is what we call the Tai Chi. This is a Tai Chi diagram. In this picture, we can see a circle is divided into parts. One is painted as black, one is white. But in the white part, there's something black. In the black part, there's something white. So we call it yin and yang. It refers that everything has two sides. It means the two elementary powers, yin and yang, function by reciprocal action. Yin and yang are the two polar opposite into each other. All things can be classified. For example, everything in China has its nature of yin or and yang. Because we think dark is yin, light is yang, life is yang, death is yin. Male is yang and female is yin. The good is yang and the evil is yin. To be strong is yang, weak is yin. Just so on. These are all manifestations of the concept of Taoism. Taoism, yin and yang are basic philosophies in traditional Chinese. It's also a basic philosophy in traditional Chinese medicine. Finally, I will share some Taoism quotations. The first one is expresses the loves of Chinese people for water. We say that the best of human virtue is like water. In China, we say it like 上善若水. Many Chinese people like to write these 4 Chinese characters for decorations of their homes. Water benefits all things and does not compete with anyone other. The second quotation is what we call good fortunes follows upon disaster, and disaster lurks within good fortune. It is also a manifestation of our spirit. Yin and yang are together. At last, I would like to give a summary of this lecture today. I hope everyone will take home 2 points of Chinese philosophy. The first is the benevolence in the Confucianism, which we call it as Ren in Chinese character. The second point of Chinese philosophy, we can see it as the universal laws in Taoism, which we call it Dao in Chinese character. Okay, thank you all. That's all my lecture. Dear host.
Thank you very much, Professor Zhipeng. Great, extraordinary presentation. It was very, very interesting for me. First of all, I would like to thank you for choosing such a great title. I would like to let the audience know that it was chosen by Professor Zhipeng for this school, and it was a great title. I think I think we need at this part of the human history to bring all other together, to bring peace for all human beings, and we need dialogue between cultures. And yes, it is not important if I am Chinese, I am Iranian, I am European, I am American, Asian, African, or from all over the world. It is important that we are all human beings, and we need each other to be in touch with each other. And let me share some interesting.
Okay.
During your presentation, me and my colleagues found a lyric from a well-known poet. He's Iranian. Also, he lives for a long time in Turkey. He's known as Rumi or Molavi in Persian language. and I think it is a bridge between Iranian and Turkish culture, and such bridge could be made between all cultures around the world. This is a poem that it is, let me read it in Persian first. It is هر کسی کور دور ماند از اصل خویش باز جوید روزگار وصل خویش. And in English it is he who abides from far away from his home is ever longing for the day he shall return. And I think we are all human beings and we need each other. Thank you very much again, Professor. And I would like to ask our audience to share their questions if you would have, especially from other countries. We share Chinese countries, Chinese culture, Iranian culture, and I will be grateful if you would like share your audience. Please raise your hands, dear students, and share your comments if you would have.
As far as far as I'm concerned, I think different language gives us great difficulty in communicating our different cultures. But I do believe different cultures and greater works of all kinds of human beings lead people to a same place. That is human greater virtue. Especially for our daughters or some technical workers, we should have some more cultural thinkings in our daily work.
Yes, it is. We have a question. What is your favorite Chinese green tea?
Green tea. Yeah, Chinese teas have many kinds. Some green teas, black teas, red teas, white teas, and some oolong tea. I like what I like. As for Beijing people, they like a flower tea. They like flower tea. As far as I'm concerned, I like a tea. Its name in China is called 铁观音. Yes, green tea is also my favorite.
That's great. And let me share, because of time shortage, let me share one question with you. Do you commonly use traditional or Chinese medicine in dental practice? I remember that I visited your school, that you have a department assigned for Chinese medicine. Would you please some details about this department, or how you commonly use Chinese medicine in your routine practice?
Okay, as for in the long history of China, people have many traditional methods to treat the pains of dental pains or treat some oral diseases. In my hospital, there's a department of oral mucosa diseases. They use Chinese traditional medicine to treat oral mucosa diseases. As far as I'm concerned, in my practice, I treat people with the temporal mandibular disorders. And oral facial pain. I will instruct these people to do massage or some heat or with some Chinese traditional medicine. I think in other branches of dentistry, there are not so many practice of traditional Chinese medicine. But in our daily life, as for myself, I use many Chinese traditional medicine method for my fitness, for my own fitness. Just like you may have seen 艾灸, you know 艾灸, some herbal heat, yes, and some essence, herbal essence. I use them for treatment of influenza. I think the Western medicine system and the Chinese traditional medicine system or Persian traditional medicine system have different thinking philosophies. As for the traditional side, it's more thinking from the whole system, but the Western modern systems from the analytic side. So I think these two sides should be combined together to bring fitness to people.
Yes, great. Thank you very much. We have several questions, but because of time shortage, let's finish this panel at this part. And I would like to express again my sincere appreciation to you, Professor. It was extraordinary for me, and I'm sure for all audience. And please be in touch with us with this great network which have been established during recent months. And I will very grateful that we had you in this panel. Thank you very much.
Also, I also hope best relationship between our two universities, and hope to see you again.
Hope to see you. Thank you very much. And thank you, the audience. We will be back in 5 minutes with next panel. Thank you, Professor Zhipeng.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.